Hello everyone, welcome once again to What Goes on Tour. This time coming to you from Perth in Western Australia. Hanyani Shimange is with me, and great to welcome Tim Horan. I got into trouble, Tim, because on last week's podcast I said next week we're talking to former Wallaby legend, and somebody called me out and said, no, he's still a Wallaby.
Still a Wallaby, yeah. Always a Wallaby. It's like an Olympian. You're always an Olympian. You're not a former.
Exactly. So Wallaby legend, Tim Horan. Great to have you, Timmy.
Thanks, Percy. Shimmi, nice to be here over in Perth. So looking forward to this test match on Saturday night here in Perth after you gave us a bit of a dishing up in that first test match in Brisbane. We had a pretty strong hunting ground there at Suncorp Stadium, but you debunked that.
Yeah, you must feel like a Wallaby on tour in your own country. 5.5 hours flight to get you. Yeah,
it's a bit of a flight from Brisbane all the way across to Perth, but I enjoy coming to Perth. The Western Force, of course, is the Super Rugby Pacific team here, and they are out of the competition for a little while and now back in. So the rugby here in Perth's pretty strong. The junior programs, community programs, and the women's program here is pretty big as well. So obviously a lot of expats here, a lot of Pommies, a lot of South Africans, but also
a lot of South Africans.
A lot of South Africans. Hopefully not
a hell of a lot.
There was a lot in Brisbane too.
Yeah. Tommy, is this? You look at rugby in Australia. It's important for the force because of the geographical distance to have a rugby union team. I heard there's a league team coming here also, but to have the force here is pretty important for the development of Australian rugby.
Yeah, it is to have the game of rugby right across Australia is important. If it's only on the East Coast, that's difficult. So, I mean, the Western Force have a really strong role to play in rugby in Australia. And, Twiggy Forrest, who's a big mining magnate here in WA, or of course all across Australia, a big supporter of the game here. So we always bring test matches here. A lot of them, of course, are against England or against the Springboks. And probably like the crowd last week in Brisbane, it was 50-50, I reckon.
Yeah.
Wallaby supporters and Springbok supporters, probably the same here on Saturday afternoon.
Let's talk about the Australian crowd. Are they generally pretty quiet, the union? Because I've been to league games.
Yes.
And it's a whole new ball game there in terms of the intensity of the crowd. But the union crowd seem pretty quiet. I was surprised at how quiet they were.
Yeah, I suppose they're, I wouldn't say they're more educated, the union crowd, but they enjoy the game. I think they...
So tree jackets. And
yeah, that's it.
And Orrin Williams.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Oh, and I think that they really enjoy the atmosphere, union crowds. And I just think it was really special last week in Brisbane to see how many Springbok supporters in their green jerseys there at the game who wanted to come out and actually see the world champion Springboks and see their team, which they wouldn't have seen for a long time in Brisbane. So that was special. And when we commentate, I'm sure you guys, similar to us, when I was commentating with Channel 9 and Stan Sport last week, I'm sitting there going, I was in awe of how this Springbok team has evolved over the last sort of 6 or 8 months since the Rugby World Cup. That was pretty special to watch.
I was in awe of how simple it was to get a boerewors roll or a bag of biltong. I mean, wherever you go out of the hotel here in Perth and there's 3 biltong shops within a couple of 100 meters.
The exchange rate makes you think you're paying for caviar, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
I bought biltong yesterday, and then the bill came. I was too embarrassed to say, take it back. I don't want it anymore. It's a lot of cash.
Didn't want 5.
You spoke about Twiggy Forrest. The Aussies will have a nickname, don't they? I mean, the guy's surname is Forrest.
Yeah.
So obviously his name is Twiggy.
Yeah.
I've got a new nickname for Shimmi.
What do you got?
We're on tour GPS, but it's got nothing to do with directions. It's global podcast sensation.
Oh, right. I just thought...
Not really. I'm the only one here with Matt. He's got no choice.
I thought the GPS might have stand for. See, when we went away to the Rugby World Cups, the last couple of Rugby World Cups, GPS stood for after 10 p.m. You just couldn't find him. You didn't know where he was.
Yeah, but it's good to be back in Perth. We haven't been here for a while. A very smart new stadium, Optus.
Yep.
Your thoughts on that one? We've never played there.
Oh, it's a wonderful stadium. It's probably built more for AFL and cricket, so you will be a little bit further away for the crowd to watch. But the Wallabies, good success here against the All Blacks a few years back. I think that was 3 years ago. They've had some big crowds here to watch. I think we've got the ground record. So the Wallabies versus the All Blacks was the ground record here at Optus Stadium. But because they had seats on the infield, so AFL can't beat that. That's one thing I suppose we've got against them. But yeah, it's a walk from the city. We're just on the edge here of the city. You walk across a couple of bridges. It's next to the casino, which is good for after the game.
And if it's anything like Suncorp, it'll be great. I mean, Suncorp was a fantastic atmosphere. It's such a great arena. You're nice and close, absolutely packed. So yeah, it was good. I was trying to get it away from rugby a bit on tour. You know, you like to get away from the rugby. And my partner here, I wanted to go and look at this exhibition of the Titanic. Have you seen that in Brisbane? You're a Brisbane man.
Yeah.
There's this exhibition where you can sort of live the reality of the Titanic, and I was about to pay for a ticket.
Yeah.
And he said, Matt, the boat sank.
I was going to say, where's the boat?
I mean, so that was that.
Yeah, right.
Didn't get onto that. So
I'll tell you the best thing about Suncorp. So, talking about Suncorp, the halftime sandwiches they give the commentary team.
Yes.
It's the best commentary box in the world, in my opinion.
Wow, those were good.
Did you get the? Yeah, you get the.
The beef ones with mustard on.
Yes. Oh,
The warm ones.
little mini sort of rolls, and then you get some meat pies, and you can go whichever way you want. You can go healthy, or you can go unhealthy. But
A meat pie or a chicken pie.
yeah.
Too.
There's some pizzas outside there for you. No, we love having you guys. I think the Springboks too. When Sia walked down the street, and I saw a shot of him walking down the street in Brisbane, and fans coming up. He's a global sensation, Sia, and what he's done for the game, not just on the field but off the field, is pretty important for us to help grow the game in Australia.
Timmy talks about the importance of the Western Force. The Springboks have been training at their gym facility. It's fantastic. And seeing some of the familiar faces on the wall there, Shim, the Marcel Brachy, who
UCT man.
used to be called
Aki Tiger.
The commentary teams used to call him Brachet.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Brachet, and then Brainard Stander was there on the wall as well. Peter Grant.
Peter Grant was here for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A lot of wine at his uncle's place last night. It was good.
Yeah.
A lot. It's very good though.
Marcel Brachy.
What about you touring South Africa? It was never a difficult thing for you to do, was it? You loved coming back to us.
Oh, I think the time we had, our first tour there in 1992 when we played the Springboks in Cape Town, and a wonderful experience to actually just understand the culture and the history of sport in South Africa. I reckon was really important. I was 21, 22 years of age, and then had all these other tours through to whether it was Cape Town or Durban, or we loved going to Durban. Was a great spot, and then test matches in Joburg, Pretoria, and then the tours that we had. I remember going to, is it Potchefstroom?
Yeah.
Not far out of Pretoria.
Serious? Okay.
Yeah, we had a
what were you doing there?
we had a Wallaby,
obviously.
we had a Wallaby tour game there.
Yeah.
And for some reason they must have been able to have alcohol in the stadium back then. But you saw everyone walking.
That hasn't changed.
Hasn't it? Oh, right, really. But you saw everyone walking in with these bags of oranges. And you go, why are they taking all these bags of oranges? And we realised that they got syringes out with vodka, putting them in the oranges, and they were squeezing the oranges.
No.
And at half,
it was brandy. I guarantee it wasn't vodka.
And at half time, the crowd was going crazy.
You never heard of a vodka and orange?
No, not that way anyway.
Tim, you started. I mean, you started 19 years old. You played for the Wallabies.
Yeah,
and I asked Matt Couture the same thing. I mean, you just finished school.
Yeah.
Straight into an international team. What was that like? I mean, we talk about a young guy like Sasha, obviously performing last week, but the 19 years old is incredibly young to walk into an international team.
Yeah, just like you finish school and then all of a sudden you're playing against the All Blacks. They're doing this thing called the haka that I'd never really seen before or understood. But I suppose in those days, when you're young, you've got no fear.
Yeah.
I reckon the second year's the toughest. First year you're out there, things are all new, and then your second and third year's a lot harder. So. Playing against guys, I marked Joe Stanley, smoking Joe Stanley in my first test match. I played at 13, I played at outside centre in my first test, and seeing Joe Stanley, and I went back to look at the program a couple of weeks ago for something, and I remember Joe Stanley being probably 120 kg, you couldn't stop him. I looked at the program, he was 88 kg. And I'm thinking, this bloke's huge. Maybe it was the black jersey, but wonderful experience, and you treasure it. Yeah.
Just going back to you touring South Africa, do you remember playing in Cape Town in '95?
Yes.
Good game?
95. Super Rugby or Test matches? 1994.
I'd love to ask Campese that question.
Yeah. But we had some great matches, like. One of my best memories, probably worst memories, when Bobby Skinstad did a little dummy, and I fell for the dummy in Joburg, about 96, I think it was. I probably made Bobby, really, but like you had some wonderful players, and to play, against guys like Joos van der Westhuizen, and then have the chance later in my career to play in the Barbarians with him, was incredible. Like we had Joos was scrum half. We had Jonah Loma on the wing.
Yeah.
Percy was at fullback. Like those three guys, just incredible. And, you know, Percy Montgomery, when you look back at his career, he's such a lovely bloke back at his career and what he did for the game. A bit like Matt Burke, like unsung hero, kicking goals and winning test matches virtually on their own.
So we're here next to the Swan River. Beautiful, isn't it? It's actually a very beautiful city. But I'm told, I was never a great geographer.
Right.
But I'm told it's the most isolated city in the world. I mean, the closest city is Adelaide, which is about 4 hours.
Yeah, or probably Singapore.
2 hours, isn't it?
No, 4 hours to
I can see
Adelaide.
Cape Town. Oh.
Not really. But I was going for a little walk in the city, down by the river.
Yeah.
And I discovered another Wallaby legend. I mean, we spoke about you as a Wallaby legend. I want to know from a true blue Australian about R.M. Williams, because they do clothing now and so on, but they're famous for the boots.
Like
right?
these things here.
The boots.
Yeah. So you're not Australian unless you got, I reckon, 3 pair of R.M. Williams boots.
3 pairs.
3 pairs. So one
Need a
shimmy.
mortgage.
So you'll get this shimmy. Yeah, they're about 650, 700 Aussie. What's that in rand?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've got to have 3 pairs. So one pair is when you go out bushing, it's a really old pair. They have holes in it.
Yeah.
You've had it for 20 years. Another pair is for going to the pub, going to the beer garden Sunday afternoon. Then you have another pair which is for going to weddings and funerals. You know, so you've got to have 3 pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be shopping. Well, Matt's going to be shopping there.
Well, I went to
With
try
all the fees he's getting, he'll buying 4 pairs. Can you buy 4?
So there was one style that the lady told me is made of kangaroo leather.
Yeah.
And I asked her if it puts a spring in your step. But she just
And what if you say that? She'd have gone nothing. I don't like your South African humour. But no, it's iconic. We have a lot of great brands like Dryzerbone as well, the big coats that you wear.
Yeah.
R.M. Williams. So there's...
and the red frog.
Have you tried the red frogs?
I love the red frog.
Yeah, really.
And the Black Marlin.
What do you guys do? What do you guys do commentary-wise? Like obviously, we've commentated. I've done for about 22 years with broadcast. You have different sort of little treats that you have. We have snakes, or we have different lollies, or a meat pie at half time. Do you have any little rituals?
All of the above.
Yeah, just whatever's there.
No. Suncorp was good. I'll give it. Look, besides the RFU pie, that's at Twickenham. There's a pie. It's the RFU pie.
Right.
It's a pie, but it's called an RFU pie. Rugby, football.
They probably charge you £30 for that.
No, the bought us is like, okay, there's an RFU pie.
Yeah.
When you say it's a pie.
It's like on our flight from Sydney to Brisbane.
Yeah.
The lady asked us if we wanted a snack. And I said, what are you offering? She said, it's butter chicken with puff pastry. So we said, so it's a pie. She said, no, butter chicken with puff pastry.
Yeah.
Look, big weekend ahead in Perth, because there's not only the world champion Springboks, but there's a UFC middleweight world champion, Dricus du Plessis, the Stillknocks, defending his title against Israel Adesanya. You're as excited about that as you are about the test, aren't you?
Yeah, I love UFC. I generally get up every Sunday to watch it, following Dricus' success and Adesanya. So this is a proper bout there. So a lot of people, you sort of follow on YouTube which way is it going to go between the two. But the hate is real. I saw Dricus on, it was Monday or Tuesday in the gym. And obviously the training, there's a whole team. It's interesting when you watch it. There's the head coach, grappling coach, sort of a striking coach, the pad coach, and then he's got a guy that, that basically simulates the different fight styles. So it was, for me, it was an eye-opener to watch it. But it's bucket list stuff, I think, on the weekend. A lot of the Springbok guys are very keen to go watch it. And Dricus' brother said, listen, just even the event as just a UFC event and how they put everything. I mean, it's UFC, I think it's
305.
Yeah, 305.
Yeah.
So how they've done this all over the world. I mean, even during COVID, they took it, I think, to Abu Dhabi.
Did you go to the? I know the Wallabies went and had a look yesterday, I think.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Did a bit of a skills session with them. But your guy, he's a big Springbok fan as well, isn't he?
Big. And Stormers fan, so loves his rugby. Good guy. Yeah, incredible. The whole group there
is he favourite? He's favourite?
Yeah, he should be. He's the champion.
Yeah.
Shimmi, how was your training session with Etienne Reineke?
No, it was ugly. Etienne Reineke thought it would be funny just to throw me around like a rag doll in front of everyone. It's like, geez, take it easy, So that's the last time doing. My neck is still sore, by the way.
Yeah,
so
really.
I'll send him my medical bill when I get back. Anyway, but it was good fun. It was exciting to watch. It's gonna be big in terms of what he's our first MMA champ in South Africa. You know, so it's going to be massive on the weekend. I can't wait to see that.
So just some thoughts on the test match. Shim, can the Boks back it up? I mean, with all the changes, I mean, it is a great opportunity for all of those youngsters.
Yeah, I've been in so many teams where the coach says, you know, players are good, whatever. The most important meeting is a selection meeting and giving guys an opportunity. That's my big thing. And it's brave from Rusty. It's exciting, I think, also from him in terms of selecting these guys. And they're all fantastic rugby players. We get the privilege of watching the training sessions. The fundamentals are there. The guys, there's absolute role clarity in what is needed, what is required. Some of them have been around the squad forever. But I think it's brilliant what he's done in terms of selecting it. If one way you want to add energy to a team is you change it completely, give everyone a chance to shine there. But look, there is the weather's going to be different. It's raining on the weekend, so that might add a bit of, might level it out a bit. But I think the guys, it's a brilliant Springbok team that can make it through.
What I've seen the last 3 or 4 test matches from the Springboks is the influence of someone like Tony Brown, who's come in now. Because the hardest thing after winning World Cups is then how do you back it up the next 12 months? 2015, the All Blacks win. And then 2016, I think they won 13 out of 14 test matches that year, but they also evolved their game to be a bit different. I think Tony Brown, the innovation that he's bringing in with Russie, that's really important the year after winning a World Cup to do something a little bit different and innovative.
Now, I've seen talk in some quarters this selection disrespected the Wallabies. Do you see it that way?
Oh, no, I think you've got the depth to be able to do that. For the Wallabies, we're seeing, it looks like Angus Bell, he'll get a run. Max Jorgensen looks like he'll be debut test match. Looks like probably off the bench. So he's only 19 years of age. Probably could have played 12 months ago, got injured. So Angus Bell coming back from injury. So there'll be a few changes in the Wallabies. Hearing Nick White, looks like he'll be scrum half. Jake Gordon got a bit of a head knock last week. So I think we've got to try and create this depth as well, because we've got some big test matches coming up. We leave here, we go to Argentina. Obviously, you have the All Blacks come to South Africa. So 2 big games for the Wallabies against Argentina, and then we host the All Blacks in Sydney, then the All Blacks in Wellington. So big 5 test matches coming up for us before we go to Europe.
Yeah, it's going to be, because the Wallabies have to, I was speaking to a couple of guys and saying they're not certain where the win's going to come from. Yeah. Because it gets harder from your Argentina. It's not easy there after beating the All Blacks. All Blacks, obviously, look at the record, the Blazers World Cup, I think it's 21, 22 years since Australia last won it. And then the Grand Slam tour. It's a proper test match season for the Wallabies. And they need to get some sort of momentum and start developing with Joe Schmidt before the Lions come, because you get a feel of what you're going to face. But the reality is the Lions series is going to be the one where the Wallabies have to peak.
Well, we've got 9 test matches between now and Christmas. So how do we do? They've got 5 left in the Rugby Championship. How do we then go to the Grand Slam tour and pick up a win or 2 there? Is it Scotland? Is it Wales? Like anyone at home over there is hard to beat. So it's a big challenge for Joe Schmidt. But I think the Wallaby fans, to reignite and re-engage Wallaby fans, you need a style, and a style that rugby fans want to see. The DNA of the Wallabies is running rugby. We didn't do that last weekend. We didn't have a lot of ball. I think, as you said, Shimmy, difficult conditions will be here Saturday afternoon. It's supposed to be raining, so that'll be hard. But I think if Wallaby fans can see Joe Schmidt and the players moving the ball around and playing with some width, they'll be happy.
Well, Perth has been the kindest Australian city to South Africa in terms of results, but they haven't won here since 2009. Been here 3 times since, 2 losses and a draw back in 2017. And they've never, since readmission, won 3 tests in a row in Australia. That's on the line on Saturday after Sydney 2022 last week in Brisbane. So
look, I understand all those historical records, but you also got to look at who the Springboks were playing then. Larkham, Gregan, Mortlock,
Horan.
Gray, Horan. It's completely different for me. The reality is, even last week, all I heard was Suncorp. It was never about how you're going to stop them or the scrum, what rugby is going to be played. And this Springbok team has won 2 World Cups away from home, played the host nation in both World Cups. So I don't think it's daunting because of the experience. They've also got to put that into, if people mention our record against Australia, also look at our record away from home. We've beaten the All Blacks away. So
I reckon this Springbok team now, and probably for the last 4 or 5 years, they don't fear anyone and don't fear where they go. Like they can win in New Zealand, they can win in Argentina, they can win anywhere, as long as they deliver on the day. a wonderful team. I think the mindset that Russie's got them in now, they're pretty confident, but they also seem to have their feet on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Well, a big sporting weekend ahead for South African fans here in Western Australia, in Perth. It's the Springboks against the Wallabies, second game of the Castle Lager Rugby Championship, and then Dricus du Plessis defending his title in the UFC middleweight division against Israel Adesanya. All the action coming to you live on your World of Champions. As they say, big hits in the octagon, big hits on the field, and a big weekend for you on the couch. Tim Horan, thanks for being with us,
Thanks,
and we look forward to having you back on tour in South Africa.
Can't wait to get to South Africa. Maybe next year. There's 2 test matches over there for Wallabies.
Yep.
I'm hoping Cape Town is one destination.
Okay.
And Stellenbosch.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you there, Tim. Thanks for all your comments on what goes on tour. Keep them coming. And until next time, cheerio.